Hey everybody, Scott here. Welcome to Politics 101. Today I'm going to talk about the debt. Now, I have not looked at the debt clock, so I don't know if it's 20, 22, 25 trillion. It's up there. Before all this nightmare was going on, now, I'm a libertarian. Before all the nightmare was going on, I always said, you know what, we got to balance our budget, pay off our debt. But we've been on the road of insane deficit spending since the 80s. When Ronald Reagan took office, or as Rush Limbaugh calls him, Ronaldus Magnus, very creative, I like that. Don't really care for Ronald Reagan, but I like the name. Like Rush Limbaugh too. But as Ronald Reagan took office, our debt was $500 billion. That was a lot of money back then. Now, what did Ronald Reagan do? Well, he wanted to lower taxes. The Democrats wanted to spend more. So he lowered taxes, and whatever the Democrats wanted to spend, he just added it, and boom, there's our budget. The government worked together, and it was not for a good way. It was not for a good end. Insane deficit spending. What happened? Ronald Reagan, under Ronald Reagan's leadership, the budget deficit, the debt, I should say, doubled from 500 billion to a trillion. Then he took that trillion and doubled that to 2 trillion. Then he took the 2 trillion, doubled that to 4 trillion. That's where we started on the road to insane deficit spending. For a very short time in the 90s, Newt Gingrich took President Clinton by the ear and dragged him to a balanced budget. Through government shutdowns, negotiations, finally balanced the budget. And we were paying off our debt a little bit. Great thing. Now, President Trump back then was just Donald Trump. And he tried to get a deal with President Clinton where the wealthiest people in America would all contribute money and pay off our debt. Wipe the slate clean, pay off our debt, and we could start with zero debt. For some reason, Bill Clinton said no. I don't know why he said it. I don't care. We could have started off with a clean slate, got off the road of insane deficit spending, but no, he said no. When George Bush came into office in 2001, he took a balanced budget and shot it with a shotgun or a flamethrower. He just destroyed it. Went right back to insane deficit spending, and that's where we've been ever since. Look at us now. Google, why did the Soviet Union fall? Google it and learn about it. I can tell you in just a few words. They spent themselves to death. Russia, the Soviet Union, was a third world country with a first world military. This is why socialism doesn't work. They could not even properly feed their own people. You know, the stores, one week they're out of toilet paper, the next week they're out of toothpaste, the next week they're out of this, the next week they're out of that. They could not keep store shelves full. Now, the store shelves for the politically elite in the Soviet Union, oh man, they had everything. Right down to caviar and probably prime rib. But the average everyday Soviet Union people, they were, living hand to mouth. That's why socialism doesn't work. That's why communism doesn't work. The Soviet Union spent themselves to death. That's the point where we're at. We have been spending ourselves to death just like they have. The only difference is America was a first world country with a first world military. So it took us a lot longer, but we're almost to the point where we have spent ourselves to death. And there's not much we can do about it. As I said, I'm a libertarian. I've always believed we should balance our budget. Now, I've had to come to the realization and admit the truth to myself. It's too late. It's too late. No politician that we elect, with the exception of Rand Paul and a couple others, are willing to balance the budget. None of them. It's too late. America will go down. We are going to spend ourselves to death. We are going to go through a crucible. Before this virus thing happened and the spending that Donaldus Magnus is doing. I love that name, Donaldus Magnus. Love Donald Trump. Still love Rush Limbaugh. But before all the spending that Donaldus Magnus has been doing, we were looking at the end of this decade, spending $1 trillion a year just as interest on our national debt. Then we were looking at, okay, the Social Security, that's the debt bomb. The Social Security bomb. Oh my God. Instead of having 20, 30, 40 people, we're going to have 1 or 2 people supporting everybody on Social Security. So the people on Social Security, we're going to be either getting 50 to 75 cents on the dollar, or taxes would have to explode. Imagine, instead of paying 2, 3, whatever the percentage is for Social Security, what's it, 2, 3, 4%, something like that? What happens when you have to spend 10, 20% of your income to support Social Security? Then you got Medicare, Medicaid. That was where I figured America is going to start going through the crucible. Now we got all this spending, so it could happen sooner, it could happen later. I don't know. One thing I am not is a precog. I cannot see the future, just see it in my mind and go, okay, this is what is going to happen guaranteed. I cannot do that. I just look at the past and look at where we are and take a guess at what I think is going to happen in the future just by looking at the past. Hence the saying, those who don't understand the past are doomed to repeat it. As I said, I've always believed we should balance the budget. And as I said, I now believe it's too late. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you point blank, I believe it's too late. All I'm out for is to get every last penny I can from the government. If I think I can, the government's willing to give me money, I'll take it. I'll take it. Just give it to me. I'll take it. I can use it. I'm underemployed. With this virus, I am underemployed. I'm not unemployed. I'm underemployed. Instead of getting 40 to 50 hours a week, I'm getting 20 to 25. Underemployed. So I'll take everything I can get. In fact, President Trump, if you ever see this, you should consider sometime in the next couple weeks, before the second week in March is done, people like me, the average everyday working American, we're going to need about a $2,000 check. Not $1,200, $2,000, just to get us through May. The trucking industry, it could take a year before we're back up to speed. Because we depend on all the businesses in America purchasing stuff so we can haul it and deliver to them. If they're not purchasing the stuff, we have no freight to deliver. We have no freight to haul. At that point, it's like a vicious circle that just spirals down. Now, one thing Ronald Reagan always stood for was trickle-down economics. Give the wealthy people all the money and let the money trickle down to the poor people. So it's a huge amount of money, and as it goes down and down and down, it turns into a little dog bone with no meat on it for the average people. This recovery, if America is going to recover out of this, America is going to need not just trickle down, we're going to need bottom up. Give the money to the middle class and the poor people, let them spend it, and that will spur the economy. So ladies and gentlemen, get what you can get because it's approaching too late. You guys have a good day.